mess about. Turn your tech into cash at CeX.
Hello and welcome to all of you e-sailing fans around the world. Welcome to the CeX Esailing Challenger. My name is Thomas Bjørn-Lüthi, but I will not be here alone all night. In studio with me today, sitting home in London, UK, we have Alec Wilkinson. And Alec, welcome to the CeX Esailing Challenger.
Yep, isn't it exciting? Thanks very much, Thomas. In the commentary box, ready for the big final. We've got a whole set of races set up. We're looking forward to it, and we'll find out. It's prizes galore as well. We can tell you a bit more about that later.
Yes, and let's go in and see who is in this grand final we're going to watch. And when we are watching this grand final we have here, we have the Spanish champion, Antonio MDDR. We have Jon Cardona in third. We have Pi, that's number 6. Tota de Teta, that's my favorite Pi. Then we have Cruiselator Alec. We have SNPJ Luca. We have Willis the 7-1, the world's champion. Rouser and Lark, Martin Fernandez. Top players from all around the world.
Yeah, I mean, familiar names to those of you who regularly watch e-sailing TV. Some of the best sailors in the world. Spain dominating again. Some great Portuguese sailors in there as well. So 6 nations, I think it is, represented. And we have the final 20. So it's time to kind of start whittling them down to see who's going to make the final. But it's great that we've got this sort of quality of e-sailors in the competition.
And while we are speaking about prizes galore, guys and girls, skippers around the world and all your viewers, there's also a prize for you.
I love you like la 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 la. I love you like la 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 la. I love you like la 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 la. I love you like la 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 la.
So to all of you out there, there's a huge chance for you to win 500 euros. You just need to find out the clues during the day, during what we're doing today, and we will put up some clues just before and after each race. We can see race number 1 coming up, Alec, and that's pretty exciting because the format is a knockout format. 17 skippers is from the start in race number 1. 3 of them will be eliminated. Then number 3 from the overall ranking before coming in here, that was Jon Cardona, will join in the race. The 3 button will be knocked out. Then number 2 overall race will join in race number 3. And the 3 behind will be knocked out. Then the winner overall will join in race number 4. The 3 last will be knocked out. And then 8 persons will join in the final.
It'll all become clear as the racing unfolds. But we start with 17 of the top 20 who qualified in race number 1. And we're just waiting for the whole fleet to mass and for the race officials to start the race going. And we'll know when that started because the clock starts ticking down to 0.
And while we are speaking about clock, we'll go down to 0. This is Jarbas. This is Enric Engoar from Spain. This is the world champ, Philippe Poland, Francis Raoul from Top Sailing Coaching Team. Then we have Span, 1418. We have White Shark and we have Chico Pimello. We have P. Britain, Samu, Cruiselator, Luis Span, Totadette, that's Pi, Vichy Hernandez, SNPJ, Luca Dechevu, Martin Fernandez, and Alfonso Fernandez Perez. And Alec, you know some of these top sailors. Please say something about one of them or two.
Yeah, it's a real treat for e-sailing fans to sit and watch this because we have some of the best guys out there. We've got Cruiselator, who's made 2 World Championship finals. He didn't actually manage to get to the second one because he was busy with personal things going on. But he has made it. He's one of the best sailors, if not the best, in Spain right now. So some real names there. SMPJ Luca, we know him from the Italian National League, from Barcolana, from the World Sailing Championships as well. A really young guy from Italy. So we've got a real variety of ages. We've got like a 16-year-old and we've got a 48-year-old. So a real range. Fantastic stuff. The clock is 0 and our first race of the night is away.
Yeah, and a false start for Chico P. Mello, and interesting to see Luis Espan and world champion Filippo Lanfranci and Cruiselator going to the right-hand side, where rest of the fleet going to the left-hand side. And let's see this overall view. We can see Luis Espan going to the right, Pete Bratton going to the left-hand side.
So they're in the J70, an exciting strategic boat. It's slightly slower than some of the other e-boats that they can compete in, but the J70 really brings out the strategist and the tactician amongst our sailors. And right now, it looks like we've got a great Portuguese P. Brito out in front ahead of Samu and Martin Fernandez. So it's Portugal, Spain, Portugal right now.
Yeah, and watch the radar up in the top left corner, Alec. Right now we can see there's a huge wind shift. Most of the wind is here on the right-hand side by the world champ, Willis the 7-1, Filippo Lanfranci. And see the ley line just move in favor for him. Luis Espan just in front of him, and he has followed by Cruiselator and SNPJ Luca. So 3 persons been part of the World Championships 2018 and 19 in this right-hand side at the moment.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. So they've headed out to the ley line, these boats on the right-hand side, that white dotted line, the most efficient way to the top mark, with our world champion Filippo Lanfranchi in all white on this right-hand side closest to us. But it's España 1418 who is currently being given the lead by the computer. Martin Fernandez Deja Vu of Great Britain in 3rd.
Yeah, but I'm not sure they will be in the lead when they're coming up, crossing up towards the top line. See here, the top mark for the first time when they come up. Most of the other boats come from starport. Oh, Espan 1418 just breaking up his boat. Just see if he can penalize Martin Fernandez just to push him away. Jarbas with a penalty against the Battle of Deja Vu. But we are heading up to the top mark for the first time. They're doing the classic up-down format, and this is top mark rounding number 1.
So 4 legs, 2 upwind, 2 downwind, and now the fleet of 17 is converging on this top mark for the first time, and they're going to try and squeeze in on the inside here. The all-white boat, España 1418, picks up a penalty. It was just too tight for White Shark too. Deja Vu in there as well. Cruiselator picking up a penalty, I think, there. And also Chico P. Mello picking up a penalty. So it's that usual thing with the J-boat regattas. They all sort of converge for the first time at that top mark, and penalties are handed out left, right and centre. Now, they head downwind, out with the spinnaker. And this is an all-important leg in the J class. White Shark 2 currently out in front. Samu, and then Deja Vu, and then España 1418.
Yeah, and we need to remember one thing. This is a J boat. It has a wind shadow 30 meters big. It's pretty fast downwind. It speeds up within 3 to 4 seconds to maximum speed when its spinnaker is up and it's going downwind. But remember, in this format, we are not focused on the winners. We are focused on who will not lose it. The bottom 3 will be knocked out of this race, this grand final, from the start. Here we have Pi in 8, but see those battle, Alec. Enric Nagura, Raul, SNPJ Luca, top names, top sailors in trouble at the moment.
Yes, they are, but they have the quality and the experience to fight back. And already this much faster downwind leg has taken them to the bottom gate. White Shark 2 of Belgium is round. Martin Fernandez, Deja Vu. There's a bit of a jostling for positions. Penalties handed out. They're all trying to squeeze in round this same mark. Filippo Lanfranchi only just now rounding that mark. He's mid-fleet at the moment. And look at all those penalties. And the penalties picked up by some really experienced e-sailors.
But this also just shows how big level we have in this grand final. A world champ, a bronze medal winner world championship, a participant at the world champion. And we have 3 winners of the J-Boats, Portugal also in there. And later on, we will also have the Spanish champion. And this is Déjà Vu. He's the top 3 in Britain. So what a final we have here. And remember, it's not a shame to lose it. You're just out of the race from the start.
Yeah. Well, White Shark still holding on to the lead, but it is so close. Just look, it's 100 meters between first and last. That is how close this race is. And it's also a measure of the quality of the field. There's SMPJ Luca of Italy.
Yeah. And if we need to analyze it, see Pi, my favorite player from Portugal. The reason why it's called Pi is because Tota de Tata means pie. If you translate it directly, he's my favorite Pi. He's under pressure. Him, Raul, Vichy Hernandez, and Enric Nagura, those 4 boats really needs to speed up and do something, or else 3 of them will be out of the race when we're going downwind again. But remember, it's the J-boat, it's the downwind action that's the most important. They're coming up to the top mark for the 2nd time.
Yeah, time running out for the boats at the back to try and close in on the leading few. Déjà Vu coming in there and just tucking in behind White Shark too. Now, who's going to be third? At the moment, it's Espana 14-18. He seems clear. And the traffic builds up behind the leaders. Samu is round safe. SMPJ Luca, is he going to get caught on that mark? Or he just sneaks in? Well done, SMPJ Luca. Good control of his device and his controls there. And so a much cleaner mark rounding for the 2nd time at this top mark. So the spinnakers are out. Takes about 3 seconds for these J-boats to accelerate away once the spinnaker is launched. And as the rear of the fleet finally head off downwind towards the finish line, what's happening at the front is White Shark still out in front, but only by 16 meters. We can see them approaching the finish line at the front of the fleet.
But let's see here. The battle is the real battle of this race. White Shark, Déjà Vu showing their strength. But who will be the 3 boats that will not go into the next phase? All of them here can be Chico Pimelo, Vichy Hernandez, Filippo Lanfranci, Luis Espan, Tota de, that's by Alfonso Fernando Perez, Petro, and Enrique Nagura. All of them, Alec, all of them can be out of this race. Right now, 3 of them are going behind.
So the leaders are through. The winners are all through now to the next round. But which of the rear 3 are going to be knocked out? Look, they're side by side, bow to bow, but they've got to catch the boats in front. Filippo Lanfranchi just jibing there, getting in the final manoeuvre, speeding up towards that finish line. So let's have a look at these last 3. What's Lanfranchi doing now? He's losing space. He risks not making the next round. The Lister 71 of Italy, our world champion from Viareggio, the 48-year-old, is now struggling big time to make it through to the next round. Alfonso Fernandez alongside him. Tortadeta of Portugal as well. It is so close. So close at the back.
And Alec, let's go down. See, great stuff by Déjà Vu, White Shark, Espan 14-18, Samu, Cruiserlator, and Luca. They're all doing a great performance. But who's out? It is the world champion is out, Alec. With 1.0 second. It's my favorite part. Tortadeta. He's out. Alfonso Fernandez Perez. And the world champion, Alec, losing it in the downwind race with 0.1 second.
Well, some huge names there knocked out in the first round. Filippo Lanfranchi amongst them. And what a disaster for the Italian.
And see, he's actually a huge disaster, dropping downwind from position 11 to position 15. That maneuvering in towards the middle, that was so costly. so costly. He is, he's out, Alec. The world champion is out. This is a huge surprise of this grand finale.
Well, he often likes to sit on his balcony in Viareggio smoking a cigar and playing his favourite game. But today, he won't. I think his cigar's gone out. I think it's been a really disastrous night for him.
Yeah. And why we are saying disastrous night for the world champ, that's the biggest surprise of this grand final already. Then it's all to you, viewers. We have a huge competition, €500 into one lucky viewer in prize for one of you. And we have some clues during the night. Here is clue number 1. So clue number 1, something you need to write in the chat, Alec.
So that's quite easy then. The first thing you've got to do is write something in the chat. But what? I'm guessing that we're going to give you that somewhere through the evening. And maybe that'll be clue number 2, maybe it'll clue number 3. But stand by with your keyboards. You're going to have to write something in the chat.
We have to write something in chat. And one thing we need to say about this fantastic event, a huge thank you to CexWebuy.com for joining in e-sailing and doing this e-sailing challenger. And Alec, let's the next race is coming up. Let's try to go in and talk a little bit about it, because a player we know quite well is joining in that race. And that's the 3rd player overall, Bjørn Cardona, Alec.
Bjørn Cardona, well, we see him sort of pop up in all the top regattas. Whenever there's a big final, you can rely on Bjørn Cardona, a professional sailor, a SailGP sailor, has sailed for Spain, has sailed for them in the Junior Americas Cup in the past, and is now competing for them in SailGP. And he's really taken to e-sailing over the last year or so, just practicing whenever he can and competing with his fellow teammates of professional sailors. So, yeah, I mean, he is definitely one of these top Spanish sailors, not just in real sailing, but in e-sailing as well.
Yeah, and I have to say one thing. He is qualified as one of 2 Spaniards to the SailGP Grand Final also, eSailGP and eSailGP Championship 2020, together with 2 Turks, Havuk and Dogbars. So that's how it is. And I can see the chat is going amok. They want to win €500 out there, Alec. Somebody is trying to guess what they have to write to win it. But I can say none of you have guessed it yet. So that's fantastic. We are getting ready here for race number 2. And quite interesting to see Deja Vu from Great Britain. Deja Vu from Great Britain. He won the last race. He really looks strong, Alec. He's part of the VRE Online Sailing Club, a very, very top club. That's the oldest e-sailing club online, and he's top. Let's see how he does.
He's top, and it comes down in many ways to the experience and the number of hours put in. And a lot of these top guys, you know, they spend hours and hours every day just racing and practicing. And then we found out, haven't we, that they actually then go and watch the race back on e-sailing TV to see where they went wrong, where they can improve. And often they'll tune in to watch their opponents race so that they can learn where they're sort of where the chink in their armor, where their Achilles heels are.
Yeah, and
32 seconds to go. Race number 2. Tell us what's at stake this time.
What's on stake? The winner of the grand final, the winner takes it all, wins 220 euros. That's a fantastic prize. Second place is also coming in with some very cool prizes. They are going to win 180 euro, third place 110, and fourth place 17 euros. 2 seconds, race number 2 coming up.
And race 2 is away. Again, Luis Espana starting on that right-hand side, heading off to the right. You can see the wind direction, top left corner. That's the radar. Look at the wind socks. That gives you an idea of where it's coming from. And right now it's coming from the sort of, if we're looking north, the northeast corner. But it's very slight at the moment. And looking out across the course from this sort of helicopter view, you can see it's fairly smooth out there. Fairly even. Is that going to change? We'll have to see. Some slight darkening of the waters on the left-hand side of the course. But anyway, in these early stages, it's Luis Espana, 1948, out on the right-hand side, just out in front. But look who is also in the hunt right now. White Shark 2 and Deja Vu. Yeah. They've done it already. Will they do it again? And get some more podium finishes in race 2.
And it's quite interesting. We have to remember, we are playing a knockout phase. This means that the 3 last skippers will be knocked out. And I have to say, right now, Raul is in trouble. He's 54 meters behind the leader. Martin Fernandez, top young sailor from Portugal. We have seen him in J-Boats, Portugal, the VR series, being some of the top sailors. Samu, part of the Spanish championship. All of these 3 boats are in trouble, but Jarbas and P. Britain also needs to join in. 3 Portuguese in trouble.
But it's Deja Vu out in front. There we saw Jean Cardona take his position on the ley line.
And actually a good position, Alex. See how he's throwing dirty air on Raul, controlling Samu, pushing him out. So he wants to be in the middle of this fleet. Luis Espana.
Yeah, a very aggressive sailor, Jean Cardona, when he needs to be. Yeah. But Luis Espana now out in front. Same format as the first race, so it's 2 up and 2 downwind legs. And Luis Espana is heading towards that line. But what about Deja Vu? He just slots in there. And are we going to see number of penalties as we did in race number 1 at this first top mark? Deja Vu coming in now. I'm not sure where he's going.
He's been pressing by Luis. That's why he's going down there. And now it comes up. Penalties coming in.
Oh, it's chaos at the top mark, and it's bad news for Deja Vu, for SMPJ Luca, for Cruiser later. Some of the most experienced sailors here picking up penalties just because they couldn't get in through the gap, trying to get in around the inside of that top mark, but picking up penalties instead. Luis Espana, 1948, he's out in front and clear and accelerating away downwind. Chico Pimelo, there's a name we've heard many times in the Portuguese championships. Enrique Nogueira of Spain, SMPJ Luca, trying to catch up with Deja Vu of Great Britain.
And see this battle with wind shadows. A penalty to Raul, dropping him down. But see this wind shadow, 30 meters big. That's the wide area in front of the boat. Every time you're caught in wind shadow, that's a huge wind pressure, 15.3. Bjørn Cardona doing a mistake going opposite 13 knots. But every time you're caught in wind shadow, you slows down. See, Espana 14.18. He's 2 knots slower than his attacker Raul with the wind shadow. So it's all about being ready and being good of defending and attacking each other downwind.
I know the battle is all about what's happening at the back and not being in the final 3, but the leaders are... I was just watching Luis Espana from that angle. It looked like he was rounding the mark twice, but no, he's round and he's fine and he's clear. But Chico Pimelo also challenging him there. And... Show us Luis Espana, Thomas. Let's get a good view on him. Yeah, okay. So it's confusing because he's got a very similar sail to Enrique Nogueira. But basically, the front runners here, the front 3 or 4, much bigger gap between the leaders and the rest of the fleet. The pressure is not as it was in the first race. But of course, we are keeping an eye on the back of the fleet because it's the last 3 that get knocked out.
Yeah, and right now it's White Shark, second place of race number 1. It looks like he's almost out of this race. P. Britton, Witchy Hernandez, Espan 1418, Raul and Jabas, all of them, and Martin Fernandez within 20 meters of each other's. So from position 9 to 15, they are in trouble.
Yeah, we will see. Really close between those last 3. And because he dropped out at number 16.
No, he just spectated. Here we have Jabas, he's in 15. Very interesting choice of him. He's going to the right-hand side. See, he's going into lighter wind. He has the wind against him. Right now it looks like he's getting the wind into the sail. It's coming from left-hand side. But when he jibes into that top mark, Alec, then he will not have the wind in his favor like White Shark had at the moment. White Shark are in stronger wind and has the wind on his favorite side. And that will make him sail a shortest distance. So right now, Jabas, Crucilator, Martin Fernandez, Raul, Samu under pressure of losing this race.
White Shark, who would have thought he started so well? But you can see the leader now at the top mark for the final time. One more leg for Luis Espana, and then he's away. And right now, really close for second and third. Enrique Nogueira, another Spaniard. Chico Pimelo of Portugal coming in 4th. SMPJ Luca Kozlovic of Italy. Joan Cardona in 5th. And a penalty for Deja Vu, clashing with Joan Cardona. But Cardona had the right of way. Penalty for Deja Vu and Espana 14-18 as well.
Yeah, and interesting. See how close they are to each other here, to Alec. Penalty right now to Espan 14-18. He's normally a top sailor. White Shark, Samu, P. Britton, Raul, Jabas. All these 6 boats are going to battling each other. One small mistake and you're out of this regatta.
So close at the back between these 4 boats. And these 2, White Shark and Espana, are following each other. Oh, they were. A bit of a split there. But as White Shark thinks he's spotted some breeze out on this left side.
But I'm not sure. See his speed, 10.9. Rest of the fleet, 12.9. He's sailing into lighter wind. That is going to be White Shark's death. If not, there's coming a huge wind shift. But let's see here. White Shark, it looks like he lost it there.
Yeah, White Shark, I think, is out of it. So what about the battle for the other 2 places? P. Brito, Espana 14-18, and Samu, another big name in e-sailing.
But this is a good
trying
view,
to
Alec.
close in on the leaders. Meanwhile, Luis Espana has won the race. Chico Pimelo was second. SMPJ Luca has crossed in 3rd. But what about this battle for survival at the back of the fleet? White Shark 2 well behind now as they approach the finish line. It's so close.
But
P. Brito. Oh, Jabas as well. He's across the line safely. Also close there. Samu gets across. Now, where are the last 3? Espana 14-18.
P. Brito.
And here comes White Shark. And those are the 3 eliminated in race 2.
But let's see here. Great job by Luis Espan, 1948. Chico Pimelo in 2nd. SMPJ Luca 3rd. Enrique Negura 4th. Joan Cardona 5th. That's great race. Deja drops to 7th. This just showed the top level of this race. But it's goodbye Espan 14-18. It's goodbye Pete Britton. It's goodbye White Shark. And it was actually a clean race because normally we see these guys losing it downwind. But this time, there was no change in the second downwind race, and that was amazing. This just showed the level and the strength of all the top players. And Alec, when we're talking about level and strength here, we still have 2 participants from the World Championship in there. We will have a join-in of the Spanish champion in race number 4. But we're going into race number 3 where second place overall will join in. But before that, there's also a prize to all you viewers out there. Here is clue number 2. Yeah, and Alec, it's something with the CeX brand this time, and it's CeX brand. We have been having a lot of fun with it here in studio. So something you need to write in the chat, and it's something with CeX, and that's 500 euros to one lucky viewer out there.
500 euros. Wow. Okay. That's certainly worth staying tuned in for, even if you don't, even if the e-sailing, as if that wasn't enough, we're giving you 500 euros as well. So it's something you got to write in the chat, and it's something to do with the CeX or CeX brand.
Yeah. And while we're speaking about that, writing in the chat, guys and girls, skippers around the world, who will be in the final? Alec, we'll just go in and get ready to watch what's going on. And here we have it. We have the racers joining in to race number 3 here now. And again, 3 players will be eliminated. But a mixed performance by Deja Vu, Alec, and Cruiselator also. We know a lot about Cruiselator. What do you think about him tonight?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's normally, I mean, he's known for that kind of that real competitive sort of lethal edge. You know, he doesn't take any prisoners. He doesn't mess around. He's quite happy to attack and give penalties to people, anything to win the race. He's normally very precise and accurate, and you can normally expect him to be crossing that finish line somewhere in near the front of the fleet. But yeah, you know, we all have off days.
We all have off days, and another player we haven't speak much about is the young magician, SNPJ Luca. Let's just zoom in him a little bit in the game. There we have him, SNPJ Luca, Alec.
We should explain, you call him the young magician because he he does look a little bit like Harry Potter in the early Harry Potters with his round glasses, and he is very young. But he sails with a huge amount of experience. He is a regular sailor out on the water in real sailing, and he brings all that experience to his e-sailing as well. So it's great to see him in the competition, and he always puts up a great fight, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And Alec, when we're seeing a great fight, let's see a fight for you all gear.
CeX.
Where could they be?
Bleep, bleep, bloop, bloop.
We're gonna be a hell of a lot thinner.
3PO, shut down all the garbage mashers on detention level.
Shut them all down.
Yeah.
Don't mess about! Turn your games and consoles into cash at CeX!
There we go, Alec Wilkinson. Race number 3 coming up. 3 players will not survive this race. And the new player joining in this race. Oh, where's he hiding up? Cruiselator. Oh, that's a very top Spanish sailors. He didn't win the Spanish championship, but the Spanish champion will join in later. And that's how we're going in here. Let's get ready to rumble. This is Vichy Hernandez. We haven't spoke much about him, but right now it looks like Spanish domination, Alec. They are really beating it up.
Yeah, I mean, how often have we seen that in recent months? We've seen the Spanish sailors really take control of many of the top regattas, and they're certainly looking like they're going to do that here again. Luis Espana, winner from the previous race. Deja Vu, Jarbas, Cruiselator, Alvari Top, Joan Cardona, Enrique Noguera. They're all names that regular e-sailors will know and will have followed. Race 3 is underway. Cruiselator in the centre of the course there. The majority, though, going left and some going up the middle of the course as well. Penalty for Martin Fernandez. Not a good start for him, but the fleet are away. And remember, it's the back three, those who finish in the at the back, who get eliminated.
But one thing with Martin Fernandez, he's almost in the lead, Alec. He did what we call downwind start. Remember first time we saw a downwind start, that was inside the starting line. That was Azir, that was Willis the 7-1, that was Cube doing that. But now the players has found another way to do downwind start outside of the committee boat or the pin and mark. And then they do a downwind start, come in with speed. And I have to say, he is in the lead now because he got 4 knots extra than the others. He calculated that penalty. With Hernandez here, Jarbas controlling him.
So a great bit of tactical racing from Fernandez then. Wishy Hernandez and Cruiselator second and third. Jarbas of Portugal in third. Early stages, though, of this race. Interesting to see how it pans out with the fleet more or less bunched up near the centre to left of the course.
Yeah, and Witchy, he's now in second. See the windsocks up there, Alec. We can't see where there's a harder breeze. Right now it's a middle breeze overall of the race course. The windsocks is coming from an angle of 0 straight at them. So there's no favorite sides. A little bit favorite side for Joan Cardona. But the wind is shifting against him. It's coming more from the left towards right now.
Well, we'll see if he's read it correctly. He's coming out to this white ley line, and he'll then tack in towards the mark. And then as the rest converge, we'll get a good idea. But there's so much traffic now, and they are so close and so bunched together on this side that I think we're going to have quite a few penalties handed out. And I wonder if that's going to make a difference, especially for those coming round at the back of the fleet.
But one interesting
between
here.
Deja Vu
Yeah.
and Lewis.
Yeah. Great battle. But see, the new player, second place overall, Alvari Top comes in. It's like he's cold. He's second last, Alec. Second last. The other one has warmed up. Their nervousness is gone.
Joan Cardona coming up to the top mark. He's clear, so he's safely round. And from experience, I think it's going to be difficult already to catch a man as experienced as Joan Cardona. At least we'll see what happens. He goes rather wide on that mark. Anyway, Cruiselator second. And it's quite an orderly rounding of this top mark. I was expecting more chaos, but everyone seems to have calmed down a little bit, seems to have taken control. Joan Cardona, look at that, though. He's accelerated away downwind with 100-metre lead ahead of Cruiselator and Samu and Martin Fernandez.
And while you said that, Alec, Alvari Top, a penalty in the battle against Enrique Noguera. That means second overall. He's so much under pressure. If he doesn't do magic, he's out of this race already. Only one race for him. So maybe it's not in favor to qualify and come join in later in these races. Maybe he's too nervous and too cold to play the race.
Yeah, because he hasn't had the warm-up, has he? That's an interesting point, Thomas. How big an advantage is it to go through automatically into race 3? Well, Joan Cardona is well ahead. We can...
yeah, he's there.
I'm going to give him the race for now, but we'll see what happens. Cruiselator's right on his right behind him, trying to catch him. Samu, and is that a penalty on Cruiselator?
Yeah. And here we see the battle for the secondary positions. These guys need to take care. Jarbas, Richie Hernandez with a penalty. That's very costly because Luis Espan, Enrique Noguera, Alvari Top, that's the 3 last position. The winner of the first race, 2 top sailors, Enrique Noguera and Alvari Top. 3 Spanish in the last position. Is this goodbye, Spain?
Is this the commentator's curse? We were just saying how much they dominate these regattas. but maybe 3 of them are about to get kicked out. We shall see. We're just over the halfway stage of the race, so plenty of time, plenty of racetrack still for those guys to close the gap on the rest of the fleet. Giant Cardona still out in front.
Yeah, way ahead.
Fernandez and Cruzolata, but right here in front of us, Alvaritop struggling to work his way up the fleet to catch Enrique Nogueira and Luis España.
Yeah, and we have to say one thing. It's cool. It's very psychological for some of these players winning these races and doing a top result. Remember, the winner gets 220 euros, 110 to second, 80 to third, and 40, as I remember, to fourth. There we go.
I love the fact that the viewers can win more money than the winners on the actual race course tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's because CeX, they love people out there. And remember, they also buy your old gear and also sell old gear. But they also sell some top new gear for you guys. And 500 euros, that is the same if you want to buy an iPhone. And see who's all on by himself.
Yeah. Our leader, hitting 6 knots at the top mark, heading off towards that finish line. Now, Martin Fernandez back in it, trying to close in on Cruzolata, who's coming in here with the blue sail. And Fernandez, is he going to sneak in on this inside? He's got right of way now. And Cruzolata gives him way, gives him space to turn.
There's no reason to take that battle. It's all about not being in the 3 last position. But see here, 6 players again, Alex. 6 players are in trouble. And Jabas with a penalty. That's very costly. Alvaritop with a penalty, Alec. Whoosh.
That is very costly. That could cost him the regatta. We may now see Alvaritop just tumble back and completely lose touch with the rest of the fleet. But Jarbas has dropped down. He's had a disastrous second upwind leg that's seen him drop into the bottom 3. And Enrique Nogueira now struggling, fighting to try and make it into that top 10 so that he's not eliminated.
Yeah. Try to see here, Bjørn Cardona, what a win. 350 meters, killing the others. Great job by him.
Insane victory by Cardona. Fernandez is across in second. Cruzolata's going to take third. Samu fourth. But what about this battle? The meters are slowly being eaten up as they head towards the finish line. So the back 3, Alvaritop closest to us, Jarbas in the middle, and on that far side, Enrique Nogueira. These are the 3, and look, the rest of the fleet are pulling away from them, pulling away, and I think the others are going to be safe. And we are looking at the 3 that are going to get eliminated, Jarbas, Nogueira, and Alvaritop. There's nothing they can do now.
It's very surprising, Alec, seeing that number 2 overall just joined in this race, losing it, coming in last, Alec.
Yeah,
what
it's
an
all
insane
very well
level.
these 2 fighting it out at the finish line, but it doesn't matter. They have gone.
Yeah. Goodbye to number 2 overall qualifying this final. Alvaritop getting last. What an, I have to say, insane level we have of e-sailing here when a player like Alvaritop loses this big. Jarbas and Enrique Nogueira. But see who's got 10th, Alec? Our young magician, SNPJ Luca.
So close.
Yeah. But Bjørn Cardona winning with 30 seconds to second place. What a win.
What a win.
And when we're saying what a win, let's help you out a little bit. All of you are guessing so much what to write in the chat. So let's help you a little bit with clue number 3. It's not Mission Impossible. It's not Indiana Jones. But let's first take a little bit mystery about what we can use for your old gear.
CeX. Don't mess about! Turn your tech into cash at CeX!
And Alec Wilkinson, I have to say, what some cool guesses we have out there. Everything from Indiana Jones to where CeX is founded in 1992 in London, where they have stores in the world, but that's not the answer you are going to guess. So, and
that's way too complicated.
But it's very cool. You guys and girls skippers around the world are doing a great stuff out there. We're getting ready for race number 4 here in a few seconds, Alec. But what a high level we have. It's amazing.
Yeah, what I was interested in was the gap between the winner and the rest of the fleet, but also the gap at the back, because that seems to be spreading out as we're going along. I'd have thought it was closer as you know, the quality gets better and better and better, although it's hard to believe the quality can get better given the names that are racing in this regatta. But there was a gap. You could almost breathe now between the back 3 and the rest of the fleet. So we'll see how it develops.
And let's go into game and see how it develops at the moment. And to all of you, if you are very curious where you can find maybe a clue or two, then there's a web page below me here in the picture. Maybe you can go in and find a clue or two in there. It's called webuy.com. That's where you can find some clues. And Alec, we just have a new player. Let's zoom into him and see who he is. This is the Spanish champion, qualifying as number 1, Alec. Antonio MDDR.
Antonio MDDR, yeah. Well, he really thrilled us in the Spanish Championships a few weeks ago. He took on some of the biggest names like Cardona and Cruzolator, and he came out on top. Really one to watch. Watch his style, watch his tactics, and learn if you're an e-sailer.
Yeah, and it's also interesting, he's the youth coach of the Spanish youth team.
Yeah, well, we spoke to him afterwards, didn't we? And we said, that's going to give you, even more authority over your youngsters. And he said, no, I have all the authority I need.
Yeah. Yeah.
They know who's boss.
Yeah. But he actually surprised us in that final. It didn't look like he was going to win it. But then he sneaks in front of players like Cruzolator. We have here, Cruzolator got 3rd in the Spanish Championship. And he is actually, I have to say, maybe one of the best Spanish sailors we have. But don't look away from Bjørn Cardona, Raul, Samu, Vichet Hernandez, Luis Span. They are all in here. But they are battling against one from Great Britain, Deja Vu, the young magician from Trieste, Luka Koslovic, Martin Fernandez, also a youngster, and Chico P. Mello. Will the Spanish Armada lose, or will it win in the end?
Well, the only countries challenging them are Portugal, Britain, and Italy. So 1, 2, 3, 4 countries represented in race 4 as we begin our starting procedure for this 4th race of the regatta. And let's have a look. So the wind conditions pretty similar to some of the earlier races we've had. There we can see the start line, and the race course has just come up. 50 seconds to go. And I'm just trying to work out from their positioning which side of the course that they would prefer. And I think they're all staying on this right-hand side at the moment. But still, 40 seconds to go. Plenty of time in these J-boats.
Yeah, and Alec, it's very interesting. It's the last time. It is the last time we're going to say goodbye to 3 players. So the 3 players losing this race will not go into the grand final where the winner takes it all.
The winner takes it all. And the fleet now, some of them going left. But yeah, so really the battle at the back is the battle to watch, as we've seen in the previous 3 races. 4, 3, 2, and they are away in race 4. And it seemed like a clean start for the whole fleet, with Luis Espana going off on that right-hand side. That's his tactic. That's what he likes to do. It's worked for him at least once already. And he's been up there and challenging. So Joan Cardona choosing instead to go off the left-hand side of the line. But in these very early stages, it's SMPJ Luca who's just about out in front. And Fernandez, again, having another good start. He started really well in the previous race. Cruzolator in 3rd, Chico Pomelo 4th.
Yeah, but see this clustering up here, Alec. Now let's try to go to Antonio MDR's side. They cannot tag up towards the mark. See Samu almost killing Raul. See, the players are just waiting for the other players from below to tag up to penalize them because of the rule of the starport. Martin Fernandez, the youngsters, was too impatient, got 1 penalty there. So Joan Cardona, he's all by himself. He's away from the fleet and can cross up. Is this the winner of today's regatta?
We shall see. Cardona going really well once again and already beginning to build an advantage. Antonio MDDR, the Spanish champion, in 2nd. And Raul 3rd. Yeah. And here's Luis Espana out on the right-hand side. Coming into the centre of the course now.
But interesting, see, when Chico, he crosses in, let's try to follow that cross. See, SNPJ Luca needs to go behind him. Deja Vu needs to tack away. Antonio MDR needs to tag in between them. He just managed to do it. And see in front of us, Joan Cardona controlling the whole fleet. He's in control. What an amazing race he is doing here.
Really well. And see, with the tactics and the strategy, you know, the experience of the professional sailor really showing in this race. Sometimes the e-sailors have the e-sailing experience and get one over on the professional sailors. But with Cardona, he's really experienced in both camps. He's got a foot on both sides, in the e-sailing and in the professional sailing. So here he comes. Here comes the Spaniard up to the top mark. He reaches it first and already has an advantage of 25 meters. But what's going to happen behind him and what's going to happen at the back?
Yeah, and mostly in the back, but what a clean race. No, Martin Fernandez, penalty hitting the mark. Raul closes that gap. Deja Vu coming in. Rest of them quite clean, but see, Vichy Hernandez from Spain, Cruzolator from Spain, Luis Espana from Spain, 2 top players, and I have to say, a surprising finalist, Vichy Hernandez, are in trouble at the moment in the first downwind action.
Yeah, so that start up that right-hand side near the committee boat has not paid off for Luis Espana this time. No. That's what we were waiting to see with interest. Joan Cardona out on the left, still going well. And what a lead he's built up. So he's away, just as he was in the last race. Antonio MDDR and Raul 2nd and 3rd. But right now, in front of us at the back, SMPJ Luca has slipped to 10th.
Yeah, he got a penalty by Cruzolator, and it's Luis Espana that caught him up, made a Spanish sandwich on him. And not a French baguette, not Italian pizza or consola. He was captured there by the Spanish, and now he's battling to surviving. And that's a bronze medal winner at the World Championship, Alec.
Yeah, you're making me hungry. Joan Cardona's round. So we watched the leaders' procession towards that top mark. But here at the back, it's all fights breaking out between Luka Kozlovic or SMPJ Luca, Cruzolator just ahead of him. Cruzolator needs to be careful. Sitting in 8th, just about, 10 meters or so ahead of the chasing 3.
Yeah, and Raul in 4th. And this is interesting. See how the fleet is splitting up. Let's try to go to the chopper so we can see it from the top. Here we are watching from left-hand side. This is Raul here. See Joan Cardona controlling in the middle. Antonio MDR falling in the middle. Luca going to the right-hand side. He's currently in 9th. He needs to capture Cruzolator is in the middle. Raoul going to the left-hand side. Right now, the wind is shifting in favor for Raoul, but it can shift back, and then Luca will come back at it. But he's really in trouble in that position over there.
He is. And it's going to take all his experience to somehow get himself back in the race. But the distance between him and Cruiserator is now growing.
Yeah. And here we have two players. They're patting each other instead of collaborating. Number 10 and number 11. Richie Hernandez. And it's very big surprise. Luis Espan. They're 10 and 11. And they're more than 10 meters behind Luca. But he comes from starboard when they're coming in there. So he will have to ride away. So they are in trouble. But can Luca get closer to Cruiserator, Samu, and Raoul?
Let's check their speed. So SMPJ Luca, he was doing about 5.96 knots. Cruiserator must be doing around about the same, slightly, yeah. So they're matching each other for speed. But SMPJ Luca needs to somehow find a way around. He's going to have to do something different on that final downwind leg if the Italian wants to survive in this regatta. Penalty for Samu.
Yeah. And that was the opening. Cruiserator penalizing Samu. Raoul getting a penalty. Now Luca is back in the game. Cruiserator is back in the game. Here we have 4 players. Samu, Raoul, Cruiserator, SNPJ Luca battling for survival. Will it be 2 players that has been at the World Champions surviving, or will it be Raoul and Samu? Oosh, Alec, this is all open.
So was that Cruiserator inflicting 2 penalties?
Yeah.
I said he was lethal, didn't I? When we were talking earlier on about him. And that proves why. He's now moved up into 7th. And right behind him, SMPJ Luca of Italy is now moved up into 8th. So it's Spain, 9, 10, and 11. And we're watching the battle with Raoul. SMPJ Luca there. Yeah. And the 3 behind. Let's have a look at them. Here we go. So...
yeah.
Luis Espana, Richie Hernandez, and Samu just ahead of them.
And it's all about choosing your battle, Alec, now.
Close.
Yeah.
It's not over.
Nope.
It's not over.
Nope.
This is so close at the back. Nothing like the previous race where there was already a gap and you could tell who was going to be eliminated. But who's it going to be now? Is it going to be a triple Spanish elimination? Or are they going to catch the Italian?
Let's see.
20 meters in it.
Yeah. What a battle. See, jibing and jibing and jibing. And right now, Cruiserator is pushed outside of the ley line. And if he gets out there, he will be in trouble. But right now, Luca, attacking Samu. What a battle.
Yeah, SMPJ Luca side by side with Samu. Samu going for him there. Inflicts a penalty on him. Oh, well, that's it. That's the Italian out. He's not going to come back from that. There's just a few meters to the finish line.
2.
And what a play by Samu.
Nah, he still has the chance, Alec. It's not over yet. No, Luis, he is the winner of this one. Luis Espan wins it. He survives. Luca with another penalty. Goodbye, SNPJ Luca. And Luis, he didn't join that battle. Survives it.
Well, we often see it in the normally at the front of the fleet where a battle between the leading pair sees them throw the race away as the rest of the fleet catch them. But this time it was the battle was at the back.
Yeah, but see again, what a win for Bjørn Cardona. I know the others don't care about who's winning, but he's winning with 21 seconds, Alec. 21 seconds. That's the second time he's killing that. The Spanish champion in second, Martin Fernandez, top Portuguese youngster, very talentful in third. Deja Vu goes into the final. Chico Pimelo final. Cruiserator goes to the final. Raoul and Luis Espan survives it. Survives it in the last moment. Great, great stuff. And Alec, what a race, what a battle. And to all of you, here is another clue for your battle of winning €500. And I have to say, I will just say another clue. You first have to write it when I say go, or else you will not be able to win it. So please stay tuned.
mess about! Turn your phones into cash at CeX!
And Alec, Wilkinson, I think people out there might have guessed what they're going to write in the chat. I can see the chat is burning right now. But guys and girls and skippers around the world, there will come one more clue to you, and that clue will tell you when and where to write it, so you can win 500 euros. But Alec, we have a very exciting final. Surprisingly, we're seeing goodbye world champion Wilkinson 7-1 in the first race. Goodbye Avaria Top, second place overall in his first race. And goodbye SNPJ Luca.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen a superhero phone with the cape there. Who's going to be our superhero in the medal race? That's the big question. We've seen a lot of the top names eliminated, but there's still plenty of the top e-sailors in this competition.
Yeah, and there's 4 minutes to the start. So let's go in and talk a little bit about some of the players. And to those of you that haven't guessed the clue yet, down here below, there's a homepage. And, and when I say go and play the next video, then it might be that homepage you're going to write. Then you have a chance to win 500 euros. So
win more than the e-sailors winning prize. And just do it by basically following Thomas's instructions. He's virtually given you the answer.
and that's how it is. Let's go in game and watch a little bit about the players. This is Deja Vu from Great Britain. I know him as a top sailor. As I remember, he's sitting in London. He's sitting home in his office, very focused right now. Will this be his first big victory ever in e-sailing? Luis Espan, I have to say, in the last race, Alec, I was ready to say goodbye, Luis. But he survived that downwind race because SNPJ Luca got caught by his friends.
Yeah, I mean, he stayed clear of the trouble. The others didn't. It's simple as that.
Yeah, and then we have Chico P. Melo. Young player from Portugal. I know his cousin Maria is always sitting in the chat. I know she's also there today. Then we have the Spanish champion Antonio MDDR. We have Raul, one of I think he's, as I remember, one of the 7 brothers from Sevilla, the C. Papario family. Then we have Crucilator, Martin Fernandez. Oh, I can't remember who the last one is. That's the green boat. He's coming. And then we have tons of spectators that we need to throw out. But don't worry, we can't see them. But who will win, Alec? Who will take it? This is the interesting part. This is the grand final for 220 euros to the winner, 110 euros to second place, 70 euros to third, and 50 euros to fourth.
Impossible race to call, really. Some of the biggest names in e-sailing here, and we've seen just how lethal Crucilator can be when he has to fight, and he really fought his way back to stay in this in the previous race. And will we see some of that aggression in this race as well? The man from Almeria in Spain, Miguel Cruz, or Crucilator as we know him. He's got to be one of the favourites, but what about Joan Cardona, his fellow Spaniard, Martin Fernandez representing Portugal? So difficult to call, but I think we're going to have a good idea, I reckon, by halfway down the first downwind leg. They are away. They're spread out across the start line, mostly from the centre to the right-hand side. Luis Espana, Joan Cardona, and Deja Vu this time, joining Luis Espana on that right-hand side. So a split in the fleet now. Some going left, some going right.
And this is quite interesting. This is a battle of the battles. Spain versus Portugal. And then we just have a British pirate joining in that battle. Deja Vu. Will the Spanish Armada this time lose to the Portuguese? Let's see how it goes. Raul all by himself, going to the left-hand side, sailing into stronger wind. And when he tacks up towards the mark, coming into the wind zone 3, the wind is in his favorite side. So he's in a good position, almost like Bjørn Cardona in the first 2 races. But see the difference, Alec. 10 meters, 6 meters in between number 1 and number 7. This is going to be crazy.
So little in it. But Cruiselator right now near the back. But I predict that that's not going to last.
No.
Deja Vu in the centre of our shot there. They're heading out to the sort of right-hand side of this screen. Pack from Cruiselator. Martin Fernandez. So the J70, really a really sort of tactical boat. We've got some pretty fast boats in e-sailing, like the 49er and the Nacra, not to mention the EF50 that they do the Sail GP competition in. But this one is slightly slower than those boats, but much more. It's an intellectual's boat. That's at least that's what Velista 71 told me once. But then I think it's his favourite boat, so he would say that.
And then he's the first to go out of this competition. Alec, see how tactical they are. They are not attacking each other. They're using the wind pressure. They're using their positions. They don't want to get a penalty. And who's in the front right now? Louise Span. But there are 2 rules we haven't spoke about in the rule of the mark rounding zone we see here. There's the rule of the inside turn. Bjørn Cardona coming on the inside. If other boats from starport enter this zone, port side enter this zone, then it's the rule of the inside turn. But a player like Luis, he come from starport, so that rule stands and goes over the rule of the inside turn. It's going to be close. Bjørn, he knows that. He goes behind. Whoosh!
Takes no chances there. Everyone behaving as they should. Really tight, though, between those 2, and a penalty to Chico Pimello.
Yeah. And see who's behind us. Cruiselator.
Oh.
Yeah, a penalty to Chico again. Second
Chico
penalty.
Pimello, another one. Yeah. So, Luis Espana, Spinnaker out, accelerates away, heads downwind. Bjørn Cardona closing the gap, 44 metres, 40 metres, coming down. Antonio MDDR in third. It's Spain first, second, third, Britain fourth. And then comes Chico Pimello after those penalties in 5th place. But what's happening to Cruiselator? 150, 60 metres behind. That's really surprising.
But very interesting, they're splitting up. Chico Pimello has more wind than the other side. See, Luis Span 11.9, Chico Pimello 14.1, Martin Fernandez also. So the youngsters and Deja Vu getting more wind and closing the gap to the leaders. But is it good enough to get close enough to Luis Span, or is he already winning this regatta? I actually don't know. Let's see how this will unfold.
Hard one to call, isn't it? Luis Espana then through that bottom gate. And next time he's down this end of the course, it'll be at the finish line. Luis Espana round. Bjørn Cardona hot on his tail. Antonio MDDR. So it's really close between the leading 4 boats now.
Did you see what Cruiselator did? He killed Chico Pimello, took almost 7, and now he's back in the race. I have ridden him out of this race. Great job by Cruiselator coming back in there.
Did you say you hadn't, or you had written him out?
Yeah, I had.
just making sure everyone heard that, that's all. And Luis Espana, though, still out in front. But look, the gap has come right down. Cardona and Antonio MDDR and even Cruiselator just 50 metres behind on this second upwind leg.
And it's quite interesting. Luis Span, he's winning meters on Bjørn Cardona. He's in a good position, but Bjørn Cardona is winning a little bit on momentum because Luis Span is sailing into lighter wind. Watch the radar up there. Bjørn Cardona, Antonio DDR, and Deja Vu has a harder breeze, but all of them have the wind in the favor. But Luis Span is going to sail against the wind in a few seconds when he tacks into the top mark, and that will be costly. That will lose him that lead to Bjørn Cardona, Antonio MDR, or Deja Vu. So everything is open.
Well, the downwind leg is key when you're sailing an EJ70. And that final leg, of course, downwind. And I think that final leg is going to decide our winner. It is so close as they come to that ley line. They tack in. There's Joan Cardona with the green sail. Antonio MDDR in front of him. Luis Espana tacks away. Gets himself some space. And that pink sail as well. I think that's Deja Vu. Yes, he's coming in. So it's all to play for here as they maneuver and tack to try and get in. Joan Cardona was hoping to get in around the inside.
Penalty, Deja
Oh, and
Vu.
a penalty.
Yeah.
He inflicts a penalty on the Briton and goes ahead into second place. But now it's side by side, bow to bow. Deja Vu behind them, Joan Cardona and Antonio MDDR out in front with the spinnaker. Off he goes towards the finish line. 44 metres now is Antonio MDDR, the Spanish national champion, going to be our champion here tonight. Joan Cardona and Luis Espana battling it out as Deja Vu tries to close the gap and get ahead of Luis Espana for a podium place.
It's very interesting. Everybody can win second, third, and fourth, but good luck to Antonio MDDR, the Spanish champion. Does it again. Sneaks in from behind, takes the lead because the other are battling each other. And right now it looks like he's winning this Cex Esailing Challenger and 220 euros this time. Great job.
And a great job from Deja Vu. Makes it up into third place. Yes, there's money for the top four. 220 euros for the winner. But right now, it's all about sailing for pride, really. They want to finish as far up as possible as Antonio MDDR heads towards that finish line. And then it's Joan Cardona in second. Oh,
Penalty!
and he challenges and inflicts a penalty on Luis Espana. And that is a chance for Deja Vu to close the gap on the Spaniard. Look, he's faded. He's been slowed down by the computer and the penalty. And Deja Vu and Luis Espana side by side. But our victor is Antonio MDDR of Spain. Joan Cardona is second. And the battle is on for third and fourth. Who's it going to be? Deja Vu and Luis Espana. Oh, sneaks in into third.
What? I can't call it. What happened there?
I have no idea. And he's just going round and round.
Oi, it is Antonio MDR winning, Joan Cardona getting second, Luis Espana getting third, Deja Vu gets fourth. So 220 euros and a victory to Antonio MDDR to WeBuy.com. Joan Cardona gets second, Luis Espana getting third, Deja Vu getting fourth. What a finish. Then Raul, Chico Pimelo, Martin Fernandez, Crusader didn't win anything. And let's see where the battle was won and lost. See that downwind action. Joan Cardona inflicting that penalty to Deja Vu in the top, taking over second, inflicting a penalty to Luis Espana, almost costing Luis Espana his third place. But he just managed to survive. What a finish, Alec. What a finish we just had here.
Incredible finish. Obviously, the leaders were out clear in front, but what a battle for third and fourth. And how Luis Espana managed to sneak in just into third place, I don't know.
No. And I have to say one thing to all of you out there. Let me help you a little thing. Now you need to write in the chat www.webuy.com, and when I press this button, then you need to write it.
We're not gonna pick our friend.
And Alec, I just said a lot of things they couldn't hear because I remembered not to put on our voice. So let's say it again. Guys, it's this homepage below me. You need to write www.vbuy.com. And after the show, Alec and I will pick a winner. And if you don't get it, it's this homepage.
Well, we say we're going to pick a winner just before anyone starts, suggesting they're going to share the 500 euros with us. Unfortunately, the names are all going to go into a machine, into a hat, into a tombola, whatever you want to call it, and we will pick out a winner. Yes.
Yeah. But Alec, we have to say, let's watch this result again. Congratulations!
Oh, what a race it was, eh?
Yeah, what a race. Antonio MDDR sneaks in, takes the victory. I haven't seen that.
Well, we saw in the Spanish Championship a few weeks ago, we saw just how calm and collected he was under pressure and how consistent he was. And that's what we saw here in this competition as well. And, when you've got Joan Cardona, Luis Espana and Cruzelator and some of those big names, breathing down your neck, you've got to be confident and you've got to be able to stay calm. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, and I have to say, stay calm. But if we go in and analyze it and also remember the race, again, Antonio MDDR, he was anonymous in most of the race. He had the best start, drops to third, kept himself in the middle all of the race, and then at the top mark in the upwind racing, the second leg, he goes in, take the lead, and luckily for him, there was 2 penalties at that top mark, and then he kept that lead all the way down because the other boats was battling each other. Same thing happened at the Spanish Championship. Great job by Antonio MDDR. And Alec, when we're saying a great job, let's say thank you to the best esport team for organizing this. This is the guys who started organizing all the 9 editions of the J Boats VR Series Portugal. And these are the guys doing all this professional planning, very well planned. And a huge thanks to our sponsor, CeX, Alec. Amazing what they're doing for this sport. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And to organize these regattas is to keep them running smoothly, to keep the gaps in between the races, and to keep it all fair and logical is actually very difficult indeed. So well done to the organizers. And I've learned lots about CeX.
Yeah. And I have to say one thing. I also learned a lot just reading the chat while we're racing. You guys have really studied their homepage, writing a lot of things to us. But I have to say one thing before we're going out. You all now have 2 minutes to write www.vbuy.com. That is your last chance to write it, because when I turn off this broadcast, then it's game over with the competition. Alec Wilkinson, thank you for joining in the studio directly from London. This is Thomas Bjørn-Lüthi from Denmark. So guys and girls, skippers around the world, we'll see you a later time. Alec, do you have something to say to them out there?
No, just keep e-sailing, keep enjoying it, and stay safe, and we'll see you again soon.
Cheers, mates. Have fun out there.
CeX.
Where could they be?
Bleep, bleep, bloop, bloop.
We're gonna be a hell of a lot thinner.
3PO, shut down all the garbage meshes on detention level!
Shut them all down!
Don't mess about! Turn your games and consoles into cash at CeX!
Good morning, good afternoon to all of you e-sailing fans around the world. Welcome to e-sailing TV.
We are in Marseille, we are at the SailGP Grand Finals. Behind me is the stage where the winner of SailGP will receive their trophy. So that's a hot one. Penalty into Lilo 14. Most of the boats are in the committee boat, sailing into each other. Massive penalties in this start.
Good start. This is superb. And look at the speed of the Spaniards.
From the start, and remember they're trying to hit that zero, that